Hello, my name is Michael Whitewood, and over the course of the next few weeks, months, years, I'm not quite sure how long it's going to take to put all this down, I'm going to be talking to you about brass playing. And these first introductory videos are all about the basics of brass playing and what it is and how it is to play a brass instrument. Unlike all the other instruments, brass instruments don't have anything built in them to make them create the sound. Stringed instruments, for example, have strings which you either pluck or bow. Percussion instruments you hit, which is useful if you want to take revenge on a percussionist, because you can hit them as well on occasion if they don't do things correctly. And keyboard instruments, well, they've got strings, unless of course it's an electronic one, which you just press something and the sound comes out. So with a brass instrument, how on earth do you make the sound come out of the instrument? Well, basically have a mouthpiece such as this, which is just a huge big funnel. Smaller mouthpieces for trumpets, etc., and bigger mouthpieces for the bigger instruments. And to create the sound, you have to buzz your lips. What does buzzing your lips mean? Well, you have to form your shape of your mouth into a specific shape, and I shall show you that in a second. And then you blow air across your lip surfaces, and they should vibrate, producing a buzz. So here we go. You form your embouchure, you kind of keep a long face, and you put your lips together, like that. And you keep the corners tight, in the corners, and then you blow across the lip surfaces, holding in the corners of your mouth the shape of the lips. Now, in the very early stages, this isn't easy to do, and you might find that you're not actually creating any sound at all. But it's worth persisting with this idea, and worth keeping trying. I mean, you can buzz your lips wherever you go if you're not embarrassed about it. You can do it anywhere. So you could try it. Once you've got the basic idea of that, it's useful to get a mirror and have a look to make sure you've got both the lip surfaces parallel with each other. And that you've got what I call a long face, a strong jaw, so everything is held in place. Then you take your mouthpiece and you place it on your lips. And produce that buzzing sound on your lips, which goes into the mouthpiece. The mouthpiece kind of forms it a little bit more, shapes it into a particular sound. And that sets the air vibrating. And then once the air is vibrating, we put the mouthpiece into the instrument. So we start like this. And then we go into the instrument. So 3 stages. And there, voila, is a sound on a brass instrument. And it sounds awfully simple. And unfortunately, it isn't. And yet it is. The idea, the concept is simple, but the actual putting into practice is quite difficult. So that now, this is the basics. The very fundamental essence of playing a brass instrument is to be able to produce the sound as and when you want it. And to be able to do that is quite a journey, I guess that's the in phrase there, as we go on a journey. And so in this first little session, what I'd like to do is just give you some things that maybe you can try to play. So the first thing, once you've got the buzz working on your mouthpiece alone as well, is try to play long sounds. And once you've done it, have a little rest. and you will feel your lips tingle probably. And if you do it too much, they'll begin to throb. And when that happens, time to rest. Go away, have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, have a sandwich, do something else. But remember to come back to it and try it again. And have a little rest, and then do it again. And if you have a keyboard, it's useful to find a note and fix the pitch so that you're playing exactly so you're playing a fixed pitch. Once you've played long notes, then what is a long note? Literally, it is a long sound. We then need to start to chop that long sound up. So I'm not going to go into the physiology of tonguing, but if you just say this syllable, da, 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 and now if you form your lips, I'm hearing the sound da, or you could use ta, which is a stronger sound, and then onto the mouthpiece. So we chop the sound up. And the final little exercise to try doing is something possibly like this. So you slur backwards and forwards from one note. Ta, ta. I'm using the ta or the da syllable, and then just letting the sound drop. Ta. And so that is the basic idea on how to produce a sound on a brass instrument. So we buzz the lips. And you'll find, see how mine were a little bit creaky there? You'll find as the day progresses, the vibrations in the lips get more efficient and better. If, when you're trying to buzz your lips, there is what is known as a sticky patch, it doesn't feel like it wants to do it, just push a bit more air onto it. That's on the lips. Don't do too much of that, because if you're just beginning, you won't have the strength in the corners of the mouth muscles to hold it for very long. Then add the mouthpiece. And play a long sound. And then we'll chop the long sounds up into short ones. And if you can actually do that, that's great. And then what we do is we slur from one sound to another. And beginning gradually to open the sound up and out. But again, at a very early stage, just be aware that the embouchure isn't very mature and it will do all sorts of strange things. It'll jump about, and what it is, the things that you need to do are these very strict exercises so that you bring it all into control, because after all, that's what it's all about, is controlling this piece of brass metal to do what you want it to do, not what it feels like doing when everything isn't working properly. So just a very quick and basic summary. We've just had a look today at producing the sound and using the mouthpiece to play long sounds, chopped up sounds, shorter sounds, and also those slurred kind of sounds. I hope this has been of use, and thank you for watching.